everybody, my name is Katja and welcome to our Patreon page, the official Miss Cat Squad Patreon page. The team and I have been working so hard on providing you guys extra content with this because we are so excited to start RWBY. And as we saw recently on the channel, I just reacted to episode 1 of RWBY. Round of applause because it was so good. Like, I am telling you, I am loving this so far because the thing is what I was saying on the episode was about the pacing. You know, when you go into anime, especially when there's fighting sequences, the most important thing of any show and any anime, especially when it has to do with like shonen or seinen anime and there's a fight scene, is the fighting sequence, because the pacing can be all over the place. The pacing, you want to make sure it keeps your viewers on the edge of their seats. And this episode, my friends, episode 1, did it fantastically. When you saw Ruby Rose, when she literally just takes out, now is it like, what is her weapon called? If you guys have RWBY masters out there, what is her actual weapon called? Because it is so cool and that'd be great to cosplay as. I mean, I want to be able to react to, and this is like spoilers for you guys because you're patrons, you get access to, you know, upcoming news. You know, that's what I like to do, is keep you guys in the loop about everything. So you'll get upcoming news of with RWBY. And one thing I definitely want to do is react to like cosplay and fan art and fan fiction of the RWBY series, because by God, I'm obsessed. Now, again, back to what I was saying about pacing. When you have this type of pacing going on, you want to have your viewers on the edge of their seats. Now, like I was saying, and this is going to be more of a detailed version of what I was saying in the video, you start with the explanation, all right? The explanation of what the series is going on. They mention the dust, they mention legends, they mention this and that, and then it goes and they mention the darkness, and then you see the villains come about and they're walking down the streets. Now, that pacing, that transition was not very easy to do. When you're in the writer's room, you want to be able to have and capture this type of transition to be able to go from one character and one scene to the next, and that was perfect. That got me very intrigued by saying, okay, this is the villain. Right away you knew, okay, this guy's mean, this guy's the guy who's going to cause problems for people. And even though in the background, if you saw some of the characters, even though they didn't have any facial expressions or anything like that, and they were just black silhouettes, you saw the movements, how like they were shooken up. They were kind of scared that this guy was coming into the shop and he was all like, gonna rile everybody up and start some kind of drama. So he goes into the shop and literally it's like, okay, you want to protect old dude. You want to make sure that this, of course they got to make the cashier dude some kind of old guy because it makes you feel bad. So this guy, you can already tell based on his character, he doesn't give a crap if it's an old guy or what. He wants to get his way. So being able to show that it's a young dude who kind of looks egotistical, he has like that top hat on, the bull hat. He has a cigar in his mouth. He looks kind of rich. His whole outfit looks like he's like a rich, snobby type of guy who's like probably, I mean, I don't know anything about the series yet, but he kind of looks like he's in charge of like this huge company or anything, because he got like people working for him. He got his lackeys and everything. But if you see a guy willing to attack this old dude and not have any type of remorse about it, you know there's something going on. You know he doesn't really care for the elderly. So that was point 1 that you could tell automatically, okay, this guy's gonna be like trouble. Point 2 was how his lackeys were like, okay, we're gonna steal everything. You know, stealing's wrong, stealing's bad, you shouldn't do that. And then when RWBY comes, like, you know, it hinted at her, you know, you saw her little hood, you know, her iconic Ruby Rose red hood that she was wearing, and it goes to her, and the transitions was, you saw like her previously when the whole shindig and, you know, things were going down between the old guy and our fine dapper villain man, and you saw her being referenced throughout the entirety of the first sequence. So what I loved is she was posing as like this customer, and she's like, "Are you robbing me?" And then suddenly the guy's like, "Yeah, you know, I'm gonna tell you all my plans, and I got these cool shades on," and automatically you're like, "Uh-oh, you're not gonna stand a chance." Like, you think she's in danger. I mean, if you didn't watch the trailers and you go into this completely blind, like, I knew this guy was gonna be completely toast and completely destroyed, but you know, if you were going in blind, you may be like, oh God, this guy's gonna hurt this girl. But she literally goes and just attacks him. Now, this is what I love about this series, is because it shows that she can take care of herself despite being small. I mean, big things come in small packages is what my fifth grade teacher always did tell me, because, you know, I'm like 4'11", to be honest. Like, I'm only 4'11", and I'm very small and tiny, so I could relate to her character, not only because she's small, but because of the fact that she literally can, you know, she packs a punch, and she's independent, she can take care of herself, and she's just a bucket full of sunshine and a truckload of positivity is what I'm seeing with her character. But she can take care of herself. The guy was kind of impressed, Mr. Villain Dude. You know, when it started going to the battle sequence, he was like, okay, maybe I do not stand a chance against this. Maybe I need to plan something because this girl's coming after me. So, oh man, what I love too is that sequence when they're up on the roof. Now, my only thing is, how did the heck did he get up on that ladder that fast? I mean, does he have super like fast-paced motion? But the only thing I questioned so far is, how did he get up on that ladder? He must have ran so fast, because it's like he knew he didn't really stand a chance against her, but of course, you know, he's Mr. Villain Dude. He's not going to admit it because his ego won't allow it. You know, his ego's not going to allow it. So then up on the ladder he goes, and suddenly you see that transition. That beautiful, fantastic. This is going to be one of my all-time favorites in the series so far, is when you see the helicopter, the plane guy thingy, come up, shoot up into the air, and then you see the wind. That was perfectly paced, because they could have done that earlier. You know, they could have shown and referenced, you know, the helicopter and everything much earlier on. They could have referenced how rich this man was much earlier on if they wanted to. But then it kind of revealed that he has these people working for him. And oh man, when the girl with the high heels, and you see just her eyes, her face is being hidden for some reason. I don't know. Again, this is my first time watching RWBY, so her face is being hidden. You only see the glint of her eyes and the high heels and everything. So we're probably going to meet her later on in the series, which I'm very excited for. But oh my god, when White Hair Woman, which I have to learn their names, I butcher everybody's names, when she comes in, her design, guys, is wonderful. She got the glasses, and then you gotta see, when you see certain characters with the glasses, you know automatically that they're going to be like that stoic type of character. So when she pushes them up, like you could already tell what type of character she's gonna be. But they didn't have to add that little quirk right there. They didn't have to add that. She just pushes it up during the battle, like boop, and you're like, so it's these little tiny things that these characters do very well. And the animation, I mean, you guys were saying it's like, some people complain about the animation, that it gets better in time. Like, what? It's already great. Like, excuse me? Like, this is, it kind of reminds me of Miku Miku Dance, like MMD. Is that what it's built in? Like, is that what their build is kind of referenced to? But it's pretty cool. Like, trust me, this is hard work. I could tell by the movements, I could tell by the camera shots, everything, the direction of it. It takes a lot of hard work. So do they like pre-build their characters and then put them into a program and then animate that? That's what I'm guessing. But I don't know why, like, when people were saying, oh, don't worry, the animation will get better over time, I'm like, it's already it's already fantastic. And this was made in 2013, so I'm already psyched to see what 2018 has to bring to us in season 6 of RWBY. But again, I love this. I mean, what I also love is when she got the cookies, when Headmaster guy's like, you want to take my class? Like, that was, because he walks in and you're like, who is this mysterious man? And then he introduces himself. He's like, do you want to take my class? So in a way, he looks like he's a very kind-hearted man. And he kind of like welcomed her. He was very impressed by her and who she was as a character. And when she has the cookies, like, you already see, it's the quirks of the characters. It is the quirks of these characters that make this series. You could have a great plot. You could have battle here and there. But if you didn't have like the push of the glasses, if you didn't have the original designs, if you didn't have the shrugs here and there like the villain had when he was impressed that he saw that she was somebody who would be like a match, you know, worth fighting, and then you see like his lackeys and the woman with the high heels, and you see the glint in her eye, it's foreshadowing that she's probably going to be a very huge importance to us later on. And then you see RWBY, how she's just like, oh, can I have your autograph? And oh, I'm gonna eat these cookies and this and that. Like, it is the quirks of these characters that make this series. That is why I'm going to enjoy it, because I always tell people you gotta have character-driven stories in order for it to work. Like, if you're just gonna have a plot-driven story, cool beans, I'd love to know about your lore. Cool beans, I'd love to explore, you know, the setting and this and that. But if you don't have these strong characters and this diverse cast of characters that you can relate to, and if they're not all like, you know, Mary Sue's and this and them, which Mary Sue's are basically characters that the creator just puts for themselves in, you know, they put themselves within these shoes of these characters to tell a story from themselves, or like some kind of political this and that. Like, you see a lot of Mary Sue's nowadays within like TV and like not so much anime, but you see it like in comics and TV and cartoons, but not so much anime. So this, I'm glad they kind of avoided that, because these characters, you could tell they're fresh, they're new, they're original, and this is why this series does well. This is why it's a huge fan base, because it's not preaching to anything, you know, it's not saying you have to do this or that, and I can tell already by just the first episode. By just the first episode. So I'm loving this. I cannot wait to see what happens next. And Yang and RWBY. Question, how the heck are they related? They look nothing alike. Unless Yang is just being the badass that she is and being all like, yo, like, I dye my hair, like usually in anime what they do, but, or maybe it's their powers, or maybe they were adopted, but this is the start of their journey. They're in the academy, you know? I'm so excited. And I can't wait to meet my other daughters who already met. And I can't wait to learn their names to be able to properly pronounce them and also show them more respect. But kudos to Rooster Teeth for creating their own anime. I mean, this, I've noticed on Netflix, there are a few shows that were, in a way, kind of inspired by this animation. Like, it's kind of a mix between 2D and 3D and anime. And there are a few, what is that called? Is it The Dragon Prince? It was recently released. It's something I may want to react to in the future, but I think it's called The Dragon Prince. It's created by the people that made Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, one of my all-time favorite shows. I would love to re-react to that on the channel too, but even though I've already seen it, it's been a while since I did last watch them, but The Dragon Prince, it kind of reminds me of this animation. Like, they kind of took the whole in a way, MMD type of style, but added their own style and created this animation to be able to like animate their characters within a program. So it's really cool. It is really cool to see that people are taking inspiration from like series like RWBY. But oh man, and you know, it's like probably I could tell that this series may have gotten a lot of love and a mixture of hate. I would love to know what was, if you guys are like longtime fans of RWBY in the beginning, what were people's reactions to it at the start, you know, in 2013 when it first dropped? Like, were people really surprised by the animation? Were they like, whoa, this is just like a fanboy type of made like series, or were they dedicated to it right away? Because I, for one, if I reacted to this or did like content on it back in 2013, even though I didn't have a YouTube channel back then, or even if I watched it myself, I would have loved it. You know, it's like, it's not about the style, it's about the story and the characters. So the style just pushes it forward and it's just the cherry on top. But I want to know, like, what was the first overall reactions to RWBY? And also I want to know, like, what are your thoughts on RWBY? Why do you love it? Because what I want to start doing on this podcast is you guys tell me topics that you want me to discuss about within my own, like, review of the episodes that I do, because it's a very interesting series and there's a lot to talk about. I can already tell the world is expansive, the characters are colorful and unique and diverse, and I love it. Vomit Boy, I mean, come on. Come on. That's a funny joke. Is that a funny thing within the fandom? I mean, Vomit Boy, that's funny. I can't wait to learn who he is and what he's all about. But another thing I am looking forward to in the series, few things. Number one, the ships. Big fangirl of shipping characters. If you've been a longtime fan of Miss Cat Squad and have been on the channel and part of our little fandom that we do have, I am known as Foster Mama Cat because I adopt characters, but also because I like to ship like these characters together. So if you were going to discuss about any type of game that I extremely shipped a few characters with, it was the Uncharted series with Nate and Elena, and it was so many other series that I'm just like, it was even like in The Last of Us, if you know that game, it was Tess and Joel. There's so many characters that I do ship together, so I'm very excited to see the ships. And in my opinion, every ship is valid. My ship might be different than yours, but every ship is valid here on Miss Cat Squad. So if you want to talk about it here on Patreon or in the comments, do it. Because I don't, like, I know you guys were saying if you want to get into the toxicity of the fandom and talk about the ships, But here on Miscat Squad, it's all about stating your opinions. So what I always like to say to people is don't be afraid to hold back with your opinions on ships. Like, if you have a different ship than somebody else does, totally fine. Like, like, if you have if I ship somebody else and I'm just like, oh my god, I love them, but I don't like them together, and you might like them together, I still like to talk about it. I like to hear everybody's different opinions about what they think of these characters. So one thing I'm very excited in the type of content I really want to produce is maybe further on in the future is talking about my favorite top 10 ships, or like why this ship is important, things like that. I want to be able to support this series with much positivity as much as possible, and as long as you guys do support it, there's going to be a ton, because like I get so passionate about certain series, especially when it's character story driven type of like series like this. And I'm a huge anime nerd. I've been watching anime since I was like 7-9 years old, and it's just, this is gonna be a huge part of my life. I could already tell. Like, it's hype, it leaves you on the edge of your seat and makes you want to come back for more. Only two critiques is, number one, how did Villain Dude get up on the building so fast? And number two, how the heck did you guys wait for this? You know, how the heck did you wait for these episodes to come out weekly, or was it monthly? Because I don't know how you would do it. I think it probably was weekly if it was like an original type of anime series, but we're going to start weekly here on Miscat Squad with doing weekly episodes just once a week on Thursdays at 5 p.m. EST time for Squad Reacts RWBY Edition. But if it does get funded more, and also if you guys do support it more, I want to be able to push more out, just so I know you guys were saying react to multiple episodes at a time because the first few are just a few short ones, but I want to, like, you know, I want to be able to package this like episode by episode so it's more enjoyable and I can discuss more here on Patreon with you guys. But be sure to let me know your topics. I want to know your topics that you want me to discuss. And I want to know your stories, because I want to read out your stories out loud here on the podcast so everyone knows about it. And how did the creator really affect your life? I know he did pass away, and God bless him and God rest his soul, because he created a series that is like living on in people's hearts and really did change people's lives. And there's not a lot of series that do that. You know, Rooster Teeth is a great community. They're so positive, they're so fun, and I would love to like meet their team one day, because they're so cool. Like their hosts and everybody, they're just so down to earth, and they're great people, and you could tell that they are dedicated to their work. You could honestly just tell. But I want to be able to experience this fandom with you guys. I want to go on this journey for as long as it does take, because there's, oh my god, I'm literally looking at the one of the playlists right now. It says 70 videos. I'm like, well, how many episodes are there together of RWBY? Like, this is the thing, how many episodes are there? Because this is going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of content here in Miscat Squad dedicated to RWBY. Here on Patreon, you can also expect to see a top 5 reasons to love the characters. It's a series, if you guys aren't familiar with it, I do top 10 reasons, usually on the channel, but top 5 reasons are much shorter, and it gives us more times to talk about it. And your reasons will be featured on the episode. And it's a lot of fun things. It's a fully produced series that you guys will be able to access here directly on Patreon. And early access episodes to all RWBY episodes will be up a day earlier. You'll be able to get access to this podcast, the RWBY Rambling Fan Podcast, and you'll get shout outs on the videos, and I'll be able to talk about your topics that you want me to discuss on every single RWBY Rambling podcast, because I'm very passionate already about this series, and I want to show it justice and really get into the nitty-gritty of it and just go behind the characters and try to live through them and learn about the lore, you know, things like that. But yeah, this is gonna be fun. I can't wait to experience this weekly with you guys, and just let me know what you think. What do you want me to talk about on this podcast, and what do you want, you know, me to really focus on the channel? Because your ideas are valid. You can also get access to a lot of polls here. So when we have RWBY related content, it will be mentioned here in the polls, and you'll be able to access you every single week for each episode. And also I want to do something special for you guys. I really want to do something special. So you could expect to see a poll later today that we'll post, and it will be all about I'm just laughing. It will be all about like what kind of snacks you want me to have during the episodes, or what do you want me to wear during the episodes, because I want to buy like RWBY merch, and it will kind of be like an inside Patreon only joke, and I'll be like, why am I wearing this today, or why am I having this snack? We'll find out on Patreon. I want to do like little special things like that for you guys, because you are instilled within this community, and it was funny because somebody was like, oh my god, like your Patreon is extremely cheap in a good way, because you know what, it's like with me, I want to be able to offer you guys a ton of like content on here, and yes, it is cheap, but but that's just who I am as a person, because your support and love has really encouraged me to be able to produce more weekly episodes. So yeah. that is a fact. So thank you for noticing that. Thank you for that. But yeah, I want to do like special Patreon only polls that allow you guys to vote on what happens within the episode. So stay tuned for that later today. The first one we'll be posting. And yeah, can't wait to experience RWBY, cosplay as the characters, do special videos like that, possibly do even live streams. I'm trying to figure out what to do with live streams. I know there is a RWBY game on Steam, so that's something that I may consider doing as a live stream, whether that is on the channel or on Patreon itself. But yeah, excited. So excited to get into this with you guys. Love the battle sequence. The music is, love it. I gotta get this on my iTunes, but man. All right, guys. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what topics you want me to discuss. And yeah, this is the first ever episodes of the RWBY Ramblin' Podcast. And until next week, I hope you guys have an amazing day. You stay safe out there. And as always, Ms. Cats, until the next video, Boris, you're a fangirl, and you're a fanboy every single day. Bye, guys.